To support the channel, you can donate by clicking on the link in the description. Hi everyone, today we're going to talk about Halloween. Now, over the years, I've heard a lot of professed Christians make very strong claims about Halloween. It's typically asserted that Halloween is evil, or it's the devil's day, or that certain Halloween activities somehow represent or refer to certain satanic practices. Now, to start with, let me say this. I don't think there's any such thing as any particular day being inherently evil. Now, the reason for that is obviously the Bible plainly teaches that God created all of the days, right? Therefore, it's simply not possible for any day to be inherently evil, nor is it possible for any day to actually belong to Satan, right? All the days that have been created belong to God because He alone created all of them. Now, it also needs to be pointed out that the Bible does in fact address the issue of observing certain days and or not observing certain days, right? Romans chapter 14 verses 5 through 6 says, "One man esteemeth one day above another, another esteemeth every day alike. Let every man be fully persuaded in his own mind. He that regardeth the day regardeth it unto the Lord, and he that regardeth not the day, to the Lord he doth not regard it." Now, it is believed in this passage that the Apostle Paul is addressing disagreements in the Church of Rome over dietary laws and the observance of certain Jewish holy days. He admonished the weak believers, those who were offended by certain practices, and the strong, those who felt they had Christian liberty or freedom, to be respectful of each other's convictions, right? The central message here is that believers should not render judgment on each other regarding these non-essential issues, as long as their actions are sincerely done to the Lord. Now, according to this passage, certain issues, namely the observance of certain days and the eating of certain meats, or the abstinence of those things, is in fact a matter of conscience, right? Now, of course, it is believed that Paul is specifically addressing these issues within the context of Jewish holy days and Jewish dietary restrictions. However, it is also believed that the principles regarding personal conviction found in this passage can be applied to the celebration of holidays like Halloween and other matters that are not related to doctrine, like whether or not Christians should watch television or go to the movies and such. Now, such practices are not inherently wrong and therefore fall into the category of a matter of conscience rather than a matter of doctrine. All right, now, based on what this passage says, I think that it is plainly the case that the celebration of holidays, including Halloween, fall under the category of a matter of conscience rather than a matter of doctrine. Now, in relation to that, the question should always be asked, what is someone actually celebrating when they celebrate Halloween or any holiday? Romans 14:6 says, "He that regardeth the day regardeth it unto the Lord, and he that regardeth not the day, to the Lord he doth not regard it." So obviously the purpose and motivation behind someone celebrating or not celebrating a certain day matters. It would obviously be sinful for someone to engage in satanic practices on October 31st or on any day for that matter. However, it can't be coherently argued that it's inherently sinful or wrong for someone to dress up in a silly costume and go trick-or-treating or pass out candy or go to a trunk or treat on October 31st. Now, at this point, someone might try to claim that engaging in any kind of Halloween activity is inherently wrong because Halloween originated from Samhain. It's actually not the case, however, that Halloween completely originated from Samhain. Some elements of Halloween are Christian in origin. However, while it is true, as far as I can tell, that certain elements of modern-day Halloween originated from Samhain, or Samhain, I'm not pronounced one way or the other, which was actually a Celtic pagan festival, I don't think it's accurate for someone to claim that such elements are inherently wrong. For example, let's take the practice of people dressing up on Halloween. It is true that during the Samhain festival, people dressed up in costumes as a way of warding off spirits, or so they believed. Now, obviously, I believe that Christians or anyone should not dress up in costumes in hopes of warding off spirits. However, when it comes to celebrating Halloween today, most people, if not all people, do not dress up for that purpose, right? Someone dressing up for fun as a way to celebrate at a gathering or to go trick-or-treating is not the same as someone dressing up because they believe they need to ward off spirits. Two different things there, right? Obviously, dressing up in and of itself is not wrong. It just comes down to the purpose and motivation behind it. So I'm not at all convinced that it's inherently wrong for Christians to dress up on Halloween or to engage in other practices that stemmed from Samhain, because such practices are neutral in nature and not inherently wrong. It simply depends on why the person is engaging in the practice. With that said, I think that the Bible makes it very clear that the observance of certain days, with the exception of the gathering of the church, of course, is a matter of conscience and not doctrine. Now, obviously, when it comes to engaging in certain activities, the question that needs to be asked is, are said activities inherently wrong? If any activity isn't inherently wrong, then it's a matter of conscience. Or, I'm sorry, if a certain activity isn't inherently wrong, it's a matter of conscience rather than a matter of doctrine. So it's important to remember that Christians ought to be gracious toward each other when it comes to matters of conscience, regardless of which side they land on, whether it has to do with celebrations or eating certain foods or consuming certain drinks or anything else that is not a matter of doctrine. Romans chapter 14, verse 3 says, "Let not him that eateth despise him that eateth not, and let not him which eateth not judge him that eateth, for God hath received him." As a side note, it should also be kept in mind that there are independent Halloween traditions that have nothing to do with each other. At the end of the day, it comes down to what the person is actually celebrating. Well, guys, that's it for this video. So as always, let me know what you think. And please remember to like and subscribe, and have a happy Halloween.